Today we're checking out Banishers, the Ghosts of New Eden on Xbox Series S versus Series X versus PlayStation 5. This is an action RPG, sort of like Liza P, but maybe not as good as Liza P. I mean, sure, if you're into action RPGs, then this might be worth picking up and enjoying for 20 to 25 hours. That's how long it takes to beat the game. It's not an open world game. In fact, it's fairly linear. It does open up a little bit as you progress through, but for the most part, don't expect to stray away from that linear path. The storyline is a little bit interesting. You're essentially a pair of ghost hunters, or banishers as they call them. There's an interesting dynamic in how you play as two characters and switch between them. This game's not on the older generation Xbox One or PS4, although by the way it looks and plays, it could have worked. You do need one of the current gen consoles, the Xbox Series S or the X or PS5 to play it. On Xbox Series S and X, the game's 56 gigabytes and it's 53 gigabytes on PlayStation 5. Let's not talk about the loading times. Continuing from dashboard to in-game takes 30 seconds on Series X, 32 seconds on Series S, and 37 seconds on PS5. Once you're actually in the game, there's not much loading screens, a few between major levels, and they are short. Xbox does have quick resume, which gets you back in the game in only 8 seconds. You're probably wondering about activity cards for PS5. Well, activity cards don't really work here. Starting the game using those just boots you into the main menu, just like starting it up normally. In terms of the graphics, the game is only okay. It's nothing special. I mean, sure, it looks decent at times, but it looks more like a PS4 last gen game. On Xbox Series S, there are no graphic modes, just the one default which runs at dynamic 1080p resolution and 30 FPS. Xbox Series X and PS5 have a 30 FPS quality mode which runs at dynamic 4K resolution. The game does look a lot better on the more powerful Series X and PS5. And it's not just a difference in resolution, there's the shadows and the lighting quality which are better as well. Now Series X and PS5 do have a second graphic mode, Performance. Performance mode turns down the resolution to 1440p dynamic, but the frame rate does go up to 60 FPS. Both consoles actually look the same in Performance mode. I couldn't really tell any difference. I wanted to see how the Series S compares to Performance mode on the Series X. As you can see, the game has better graphics on the Series X with 60 FPS than it does on the Series S with only 30 FPS. Now let's talk about the performance, the frame rate. The 30 FPS modes on all consoles are pretty solid. There's essentially no drops, a solid lock 30 FPS across the board. With performance mode on Series X and PS5, there are drops and performance issues though. You can see here both consoles dropping into the 50s. The drops also seem to be synced at certain times in the game on both consoles. This side-by-side comparison perfectly shows that FPS dropping at the same time on both consoles. Now the Series X is better. PS5 gets more FPS drops, more performance issues compared to the Series X. The footage I showed was in the first level. The second level, where the game opens up a bit, actually seems to have more consistent 60 FPS performance for longer stretches, but there's still some drops, and again the Series X is slightly better in terms of the frame rate. Then there's the cutscenes, which are 30 FPS regardless of the mode you choose. So even in performance mode, when you do get one of the cutscenes, you're gonna see that dip to 30. So that's what you need to know about Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. For the rest of the video, I have some more side-by-side gameplay on the Xbox Series S versus Series X versus PS5 with that FPS counter shown.
Retribution.
Give him back!
How touching. You come to claim your man. You think you love him. You do not. There, in the dark of your manor, there is no love. Only betrayal. I offer you a trade. He stays and you leave with your life.
I'll bargain with no ghost.
You have a brain, yet you think with your idiot heart. You're weak.
Situation's worse than you thought.
Let's wait to hear what Charles has to say.
Empty docks in a growing settlement. Never a good sign. Are the town selectmen sitting on their arses?
Isn't that what selectmen do?
A welcoming committee.
Let's find the inn. It'll be good to see Charles and Esther again.
But you a lecture on the South Dukes in a growing settlement. Never a good sign. Are the town selectmen sitting on their arses?
Isn't that what selectmen do?
A welcoming committee.
Let's find the inn. It'll be good to see Charles and Esther again.
But you a lecture on the South Duke marriage?
Esther wouldn't dare. And we don't need a piece of paper to keep us together.
This must be the inn.
That spectre. It's heading for that corpse.
More fun.
Spectre, going for a meat suit. Watch out. Spectre possession.
Try this on for size.
Ready and waiting.
Regions crawling with spectres. It's not just New Edentown. What happened here for the veil to be so thin?
War, invasion, or colonization of a land that's vulnerable to haunting. Hunting gear. There might be a lodge nearby.
You took yourself up there very fast.
That might take some getting used to, for both of us.
Antea, will people be able to tell that I'm haunted?
Perhaps, if they had talent or training.
What if someone sees you?
Unlikely. If they had talent or training, they wouldn't have needed us Banishers. These witches you mentioned must know something about the nightmare.
Aye, but can we trust them?
Witches only involve themselves with people if they absolutely... I think I see a crossing. Over there.
Signs of civilization.
Over there.
Lucky me. Signs of civilization. Nice place. Wolves and spectres aside.
Don't you have wolves and spectres in the Highlands?
Aye, but ours have the courtesy of letting me catch my breath between fights.
Bad news. The bridge is out.
And we'll find another road to New Eden.
Strange. I see stains, but not the usual kind. There's a pattern to them. Don't you see it? It calls to me.